It's morning of day 6 and all that it's left to do to finish the Skye Trail is about 3 hours walk from Broadford to Broadford.
I was old, I was young, I was sitting in the sun, I was tired of the run, I was done. Life was great, life was hard, in a way an awful card. You can't win the losing hand. But the rain stopped falling and the line on the floor was crossed.
Last little stretch and the Skye Trail will be finished. Pretty unbelievable. Took me less time than I was expecting. I'm feeling really good. Legs, feet, all feel great. In fact, I think the only thing that really has suffered in this trip, apart of my tent, is my nose. Looks like it got most of the sun. My nose is a little bit sunburned. It's Broadford, 4.3 kilometers. That's like, what, 3 miles or so? Pretty much there. Here we have very substantial gates, proper fence, good stuff. Looks like not just to keep the sheep from escaping, but also to keep the mountain lions out. That's how it looks. But here is quite the opposite. Teeny weeny little gate, fence, pretty much non-existent. Gate, just so if you wanna feel that you enter and exit some territory, so you can go through the gate like this. There we go. That's how it's done. But if you really didn't want to do that, you could just walk around it, you know, like this. So that's fine. It's nice to have choices, people.
As the road stretches out ahead and the mood keeps on changing, all I wanna do is lie down in bed. How are you? Are you blue? I can sense a sadness in you. Don't you worry, every storm passes on.
We are back on the road. Very little to go and we are in Broadford. Broadford sign here. Oh no, it's an excavator.
And just like that I reached Broadford and all that's left to do is to take the bus and go back to Portree where I left my car so I can go for a nice long drive back home.
One single to portrait, please.
While in the bus, I was thinking of the experience I had in the last 6 days, and if I would do the Skye Trail again, and answer to that is yes, but I probably wouldn't go from north to south. I would do it other way around. And also I would love to explore Kulin Mountains a little bit more.
Another cuckoo. I think they've been following me. They must be very horny. That's a shout out to you, my friend, Hounds of Howgate.
So after finishing the Skye Trail, I would like to share some tips that maybe some of you will find useful. So tip number 1, if I would have to do the Skye Trail again, if I would do the Skye Trail again, I would definitely go from south going up north. The main reason is it's the most dramatic part of the Skye Trail is up north, and it's almost like watching a movie. You start with something that is almost like an intro, and then the most dramatic bit is at the end, so you finish up on high note. The same applies to the Skye Trail in my opinion. If you go from south, you got more easy going in beginning, still very nice beautiful views and everything, but you got all the most dramatic part up in the last 2 days. Another reason for this is your body first 4 or 5 days probably, your body is adjusting to being outdoors. Unless you're doing it very often, your body is adjusting to being outdoors, and it almost has like a little bit of a shock in the first 2 days that you're sleeping in a tent, walking all day. And it's better if you're going from south to north, then day 4, day 5, your body should be already used to the daily routine of walking, and it should be a little bit easier to do the ridge rather than on the second day when your body has the most shock, you know. So those are my 2 points why I would go from south to north. Tip number 2, which is quite obvious, but still, carry as little as you can. So especially on the ridge, you will find that the weight of your backpack is a big, really like a big deal. So if you have a heavy backpack, you're really struggling going up and down the slopes. So yeah, if you can obviously plan ahead and take only what you really need. With this, I can also combine a tip number 3, which is consider leaving the car somewhere midway on the Skye Trail. Like in my case, I left the car in a portree in a campground. I managed to talk with the campground owner, and he was kind enough to let me leave the car there. However, if you can, consider leaving car somewhere in the middle and then just when you finish the Skye Trail you come back to using bus to the car. Advantages to this is when you get to your car you can do adjustments if you felt in beginning that you need this and maybe more of that gear, or if something breaks, like in my case, I had issues with my tent, I could do some repairs and adjustments there. So I got my car with extra gear and extra whatever I need, and I could also take something that I don't use, what I was expecting to use, but like I had more rain gear than necessary, really, because I was expecting weather way worse than it actually was. So I could do my adjustments, leave them in the car, and then carry on with my journey much lighter. So that's tip number 3. Tip number 4, take some sunscreen with you and use some MIDGE repellent. That is going to be obviously as well useful against ticks. So in my case I didn't have issues with midges because it was too early in the season, but you might also experience that the same what I did, is that I struggled with ticks. I did get lots of them on my legs, especially because I was walking with shorts, and I had to check my body very often, and still I did get lots of ticks that been already attached. So yeah, it's obviously not very pleasant. So yeah, tick repellent, some MIDGE repellent would help. And also, obviously, if you're going in warmer summer months, then take with you some midge nets, because without those you might get eaten alive. The next tip is changing socks often. What I was doing is every time my feet was getting a little bit hotter or a little bit uncomfortable, I would just change socks. I carried, I believe it was 5 pairs of socks with me, and I used all of them. I would change socks 2 or 3 times a day during my hike, and yeah, I would just basically rotate them, and I found it very good. And every time I could as well, I would just dip the feet in the cold water if I was having a little rest, and that obviously helps to recovery so much better. So yeah, that's very useful if you can do it. Dip your feet in a cold water. The next tip is take compact water filter with you. You will find that it's so much easier to take water from the stream, and if you plan ahead where you can resupply the water, you can just carry less, and this is obviously gonna help keep the weight low, and obviously you don't want to drink from the stream just straight out of the stream without treating the water. So yeah, water filter in my opinion is a must on the Skye Trail, and it's really invaluable gear for this trip. The next tip is cash and carrying cash with you. I didn't find it useful. Before I did my trip, I did a kind of research as well, a little bit of the Skye Trail, and read some info, and people were suggesting to take cash with you, and I don't know, I couldn't find anything to use it for, really. So yeah, everything, like bus is contactless, all the shops were contactless, where else I'm gonna leave the cash, really? So I didn't find any useful anywhere. Maybe the van on the wheels, the food van on the wheels, didn't take cards. I'm not sure, but apart of that, I can't think of anything that I would use cash for. There is one place that you can use cash for, which is donation, leaving donation in a Kamasunari Buffy, which I did, and I think the Mountain Buffy Association and people looking after the Kamasunari Buffy has done amazing job, because that Buffy is in a top condition, and it's very comfortable and very, very useful. So yeah, if you can, maybe leave some donation for the guys looking after the Buffy, and obviously that is going to be appreciated. And the last tip is don't forget to look around when you doing the Skye Trail. Everywhere you're gonna go on the Skye Trail, you will find that everywhere is beautiful, even on the less enjoyable per se parts, like going from Portree to Sligahan. The first part is on the road through the little like villages. There is something beautiful about them as well. So yeah, anywhere you go, really, you will find it beautiful, be it Culin Mountains or the sea views. Yeah, don't forget to take in the views, and that's why you're there, isn't it? So yeah, don't forget while you're there, and don't just focus on the trail, because walking lots of miles a day, you can just forget what's around you, and you don't want to do that, really. So yeah, that's my last tip, and I really hope that you found any of these useful, and see you next time.